So, here we are.
Here we are. Episode 16, guys. Welcome back.
Yeah, episode 16. Wow, you came out really loud through my headset just now.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
because I had turned it up. I couldn't hear the music very well.
So, yeah, we're on our new cadence of doing an episode when Guild Wars 2 does an episode. This is our first iteration of that.
Yeah.
Whispers in the Dark.
Yes, Whispers in the Dark.
How exciting.
Yes.
I haven't played Guild Wars 2 for about 2 months.
That's about right, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I got back into it this week, and now I'm back in. Like, I'm so embarrassed.
It sucked you back in.
I legitimately tried to leave. I did.
Yeah. The thing with you is that you go through phases. And I've known this, I mean, this is what, 4 years that we've been working on Guild Wars 2 together. And you go through phases of like, I love this game. It's so awesome. I'm going to play the living crap out of it. And then you're like, I hate it. And then you just go.
I'm going to burn out on it around like January 14th, 2020. I'm going to burn out again and I'm going to need another break. But until then,
it's okay.
Here we go.
Because we're podcasting around the Living World releases.
Yes, exactly. And every time we do a podcast episode and an episode comes out, that's what'll pull me back in. It'll yoink me back in.
So I have continued to play in these 2 months that you've been gone.
Yes.
And I've had I am a burnt out raider. I've had breakdowns, like literal breakdowns in the middle of a raid. And I'm gonna take a break.
Yeah.
So I'm taking a break from raiding, at least for the month of December. I usually put my groups on holiday break, like 2 weeks before Christmas or the week before Christmas, whatever it is, through New Year's. But yeah, this year I'm like, yeah, no.
What are you going to do with your newfound free time?
So I have this fractal group that is going on Saturdays that I can now play with again because I had this major project at work that has had me working on the weekends for the past couple of months. Mm-hmm. So I fractaled with them this afternoon and that was fun. And I am going to just play whatever I want.
Are you going to catch up on all the Living World achievements you haven't done?
Yeah, I'm going to try to do some Living World stuff. I want to play through this story again because I did the prologue once. I've done this Whispers in the Dark once. I'm going to go back and play some old story. I'm just going to go in on classes that have been moldering. And they just sit there because I've been in Chrono Jail for several years now. So I'm going to go back and just kind of reacquaint myself with the reasons why I love this game that have nothing to do with raiding. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be good.
That's why I play through on all my characters, because I like having a reason to play my different classes.
Yeah.
I finally have reached a point in the game where I have a build on every class that I enjoy. Mm-hmm. So now they're all fun to play. So it's good time. So I do it on every character.
Yeah.
It's a process, but it's kind of a fun process.
The Aurora PG method. Yeah, you know it works. She plays every week. At least she goes in once a week. I'm literally just I just need a break from raids.
I've never even loaded Chrono onto my bar, to be fair. I skipped right to Mirage.
You did. You're not a big Mesmer fan, though, whereas I do like Mesmer.
I don't play... My Mesmer is one of my least played characters, but I give my Mesmer character a lot of expensive stuff. Yeah. Like, I pour a lot of effort into items that end up on that character, and I never play them.
And you're like, she just looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'm never going to play you.
They got three legendaries. I don't use her.
Yeah. I have my Reaper that has Twilight, so she's going to get some play. My Scourge could probably come off the shelf. Classes that are just parked in the aerodrome, I'm going to take them out. It's going to be good. And item number 1 is clearing inventory, because I have been in a bit of a funk. Just kind of letting this raid burning kind of accumulate that I have not, like, I'm usually really good about inventory management. As soon as I'm like done with the session, I like clear out my inventory and we can move on. And yet no, I have not cleared my inventory for several months, and my chrono has just amassed literal stacks of unidentified gear.
Just sell it wholesale on the TP. Don't even.
I might just do that.
Pocket. Yeah.
I might just,
unless you care about Elderwood, Mithril, or Luck.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Elderwood, Mithril, I do still plan on making Exordium, so I figure that that's like my supply. So yeah, I'm gonna have hopefully a good supply out of that. So I guess I should, but it's gonna take me at least an hour, maybe two, to go through it all.
Yeah, chat saying you probably just got 2k gold sitting in your inventory from raids. I think they might be right. I think they might be correct.
Yeah, no.
If you've been playing for 2 months and you haven't monetized your rewards at all, you probably have a good chunk of money.
Yeah, no, I showed Raul a screenshot a couple of weeks ago, and he's just like, Miko, what are you doing? And I'm like, man, I have no drive. You have no idea.
I was gonna say that's like actual video game based depression when you're doing content and you're not opening your loot.
That's big time. Like it's just been
it's like the equivalent of not cleaning your apartment for 2 months, but in a video game.
Yes, the depression is real.
Yeah, where you're just like, I
don't care. It's literally the words that come out of my mouth. I'm just like, I can't, I don't care. So I'm looking forward to the month of December. I think my final raid will be Monday night, and then I'm going on break, and I'm so excited. It's not even funny.
Yes. Time to do all the Living World Season 3 achievement metas, all the Season 4 achievement metas, and episodes prologue and 1 achievement metas.
Now, I will say that some of the achievements from the previous seasons, they're a bit redonkulous in the numbers of things that have to be done. So I was very excited that this episode only had 20. And I was like, yes, that feels so doable right now.
You know how checked out I was when the prologue came out.
Yeah.
So I didn't look at the achievement meta. Yeah. There are 54 achievements you have to get done for that meta.
I don't think I'll ever finish that. That's the thing. It's like when they went, or Clayton Kisco, I'm sorry, I just butchered his name. He went out onto Guild Chat, was it last week? I think it was, and he started talking about like how they've been tried to restructure the rewards and whatnot, and I was like, I'll believe it when I see it. I was a big old skeptic, and yeah, it's good. I think what they've done is pretty good. So I am a fan of the new model, and I think that they've got places where they can grow with it.
I'll be honest, I'll try to like plunk away slowly at doing the prologue meta, but 54 achievements. Oh god.
I like the pick and choose method. Like,
I do.
I like to be able to do whatever I feel like doing.
I think it's good how they did it in Season 4, where a couple of difficult achievements are required. Like, because you should have to do something like that requires a ridged brain at some point, right?
Yes.
To get these achievements. So I like how they did in Season 4. This meta isn't actually that bad. It's got a few achievements, but we can get into it. So do you want to talk about the patch?
Yeah, let's talk about the patch.
All right, Whispers in the Dark, episode 1 officially, not 2, 1 officially of the Ice Brood saga. Can you explain to me why the prologue isn't just episode 1?
I would like to know that myself, and I have a feeling it might make a bit more sense when we're further into the season.
Is it because they couldn't think of masteries to give us for that? So they were like, if there's no masteries, let's just not make it an official episode.
I mean, maybe they were not ready yet. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's possible. It definitely felt like, I mean, we talked about this when the prologue came out, that it felt like a meaty story-wise. There was a lot of exposition. There's a lot in there packed in, and there was, 6 or something chapters to it? Like, normal?
I've played through it 2 times now, and it is massive. The prologue is a massive patch.
And this one was quite short, 4 chapters, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I think the prologue to me, the thing that I disliked the most about it was the what felt very artificial gating of the story by the progress bar, the map progress bar that fills up quite slowly by doing
Yeah.
the events.
Yeah.
That made it feel interminably long. I mean, I ended up going through finishing out. I ended up doing that story over 2 days instead of just blitzing through it, which I suppose is what they kind of wanted. They didn't want you to blitz through it, but at the same time, I was like,
It's not so bad if you're invested in the game. Like when I was doing it when I didn't care, I was just like, oh my god, this bar won't fill. When I was doing it this week and when I was taking one of my alternate characters through, I was like, oh well, I'll just gather elderwood and chili peppers and mithril until the next event pops. So it's not that bad in that capacity. But yeah, if you just want to get through that story, that is a hellacious section.
you mentioned the chili peppers, and I realized that I have a chili pepper node in my home instance, and I bought it, and I was like, unlock. Yeah, that's nice. I have it there, and I completely forgot that I had.
There's an achievement for gathering 200 chili peppers.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I know that at one point I said I wanted the microphone focus skin because it looks cool, and I wanted to get the shirt, and I've done neither.
You can get the shirt and the emote from the reward track. I don't know if you can get. You can select weapon skins, but I don't know if the microphone focus is in the selection. So I'd highly recommend, because you do dub here and there, right?
Technically, I do dub here and there. I haven't actually dub since the spring, I want to say, or early summer.
It's the next time you do it, pop the Grothmar War Damage.
Yeah, I will.
But yeah, so I did. I've been playing. So in my alt playthroughs, I've been playing through the prologue and then the new patch. But I have managed to play through the new patch twice. You've only done it once.
I've only done it once. I did it Thursday night, since I wasn't raiding because I put that group on break last week or after last week.
Gotcha. What did you think of the story content total?
The total, like in quantity, I thought it was quite short. But what was there was interesting. I walked away feeling like, okay, well, that was an interesting ending that I wasn't quite expecting.
Do you want to add a spoiler tag to the title?
Yes, we probably should, because
yeah, let's do that.
Okay, let me do that. You can talk while
I'm gonna just hit big in chat so nobody misses it. Spoilers ahead. Boom. All right. So what I liked about this story was that, you know how previously we've been fighting the Elder Dragons, and each Elder Dragon is kind of just this big bad, like amorphous blob of like problem, right?
Yeah.
They're making Jormag into like a character, rather than just
an entity.
An entity, yeah. They did it a little bit with Mordremoth and a little bit with Krokotoric, like in that final instance, but not nearly as much. Like, we've gotten more dialogue out of Jormag than any Elder Dragon, all the Elder Dragons put together, combined, already.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and Jormag is being shown to have a specific personality, like, it's very devious and conniving, right? And it likes it. It's almost a bit trolly. Like, we get to the end of this instance in the final part of the story, and it's like, lol, just messing with you. You know, like, Jormag's kind of a troll. It's interesting. It makes for a much more interesting villain than the previous dragons, because everybody liked Joko so much as a villain, right? Why?
Yeah.
Because he's an actual character,
right?
Who has like flaws and motivations and personality. And so I think that's the route they're taking with Jormag, and I think it's going to make for a better outcome.
So let's walk through and try to go in order before we start jumping ahead to the end. But what did you think of Jorah's Keep?
It was an instance. Gameplay wise, this story section was like the story section, but even the patch overall gameplay wise is just run of the mill as hell. Gameplay wise, not particularly interesting, right? You show up at Jorah's Keep with Marjorie and the gang, right?
Yeah.
Bram still doesn't have his bow because
He got drunk and I love it.
Sun jacked it, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So we show up there, and it's because we got a call from Almora. And I don't know if you picked up on it when Almora calls us on the phone, but I was like, she sounds weird.
She does sound weird. I thought she sounded weird.
It's very obvious that she sounds weird, so I think the average person would pick up on it. They're like, this isn't how her verbal cadence is wrong.
Right. Okay. And, you know, it could be, like, I know a couple of people that I've spoken with, they were like, oh, I knew from the start that Almora was not really Almora. And I was like, really? Because I must not care about Almora as much or be that into her usual cadence. But, I mean, I knew her voice sounded weird, and I just was like, whatever. Okay, I'll just go with it. And so I was just kind of like, at the end, I was like, oh, okay.
I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
But yeah, when I heard her talk like that, I was like, oh, something's wrong. You know, so we go up there and everyone's dead, right? Everyone's dead. And of course, us being us, we're like, what happened? Right?
I know. It's kind of funny, like, how the Pact commander just runs across death and is always like, no, what happened here?
Yeah, we're like, I don't know. We're way up north. The Blood Legion's off to go find Jormag, and we're in Jormag's territory, and everyone's dead.
Maybe it was Jormag. Yeah.
Let's use some deductive reasoning.
Did we not learn from Heart of Thorns when Mordremoth wiped out the fleet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like the story overall is kind of left us in a limbo with Elder Dragons. So we killed Krakatorrik and Aurene absorbed his power, right? But now we don't know, does Aurene give us a free pass to just kill all the other Elder Dragons, or do we have to have somebody to absorb each Elder Dragon?
Right, and that's the question.
Can Aurene absorb each Elder Dragon and just get exponentially more powerful and be fine?
Right, and that's the big doubt that opens up the prologue. Like, people are super nervous about the fact that Aurene could do that.
Yeah, and so
whereas we're like, but she's Aurene. She's
and I feel like since we don't have these answers, not having these answers is part of the story now, though, because nobody wants there to be another Elder Dragon War. We're fresh off of like 3 in a row, right? We're like, let's not do another one. You know? So I think like part of the reasoning behind us going here and being like, well, what happened? Could just be like our characters not wanting it to be Jormag. Like subconsciously, they're like, "No, let's not do this again."
I mean, I think you're maybe reading it a little bit too much or giving them too much credit. I just think it's like just kind of convenient exposition.
Yeah.
In a way, so we have to move the story along. Oh, what happened? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it frustrates me, but it also makes sense that we seem to be moving towards another Elder Dragon conflict so soon, and we don't know what the rules are.
Yeah.
You know, that bugs me. That we're like, all right, let's deal with Jormag. How do we do that?
How do we do that?
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, is Aurene going to help us? Is she not going to help us? Do we need to absorb power? Can we just wholesale kill her?
And literally no Aurene this episode, right? Unless I completely missed something.
No Aurene.
Found,
yeah.
Which Aurene. I thought was really good. I'm kind of like, not that I'm done with Aurene. I like Aurene. I think it was a good move that they didn't bring her in.
And I will say also that I know there's been, like Anet has stated, that the Elder Dragons in general don't have gender identifiers, right? But Jormag's voice sounds like a she, so I call Jormag a she. I don't know.
Right, and there's I think the reason why, because in the initial trailer we get the voice that sounds suspiciously like Loranther. And now we've got this voice that sounds like Almora.
Well, because you hear Jormag at the end of the patch too.
Yes.
And she sounds like Glint from like Prophecies era Glint, right? Like, so I don't know, man. Jormag is a wild ass character, and I'm enjoying it. But the murder mystery that you solve right in like 2 seconds at Jorah's Keep is like, oh, okay. Yeah. There's no gameplay in that instance whatsoever.
No, it's just follow the clues, investigate, and a reason to kind of unlock the first mastery.
Which I'll actually controversially state that I think it's okay when these instances don't have any gameplay in them.
Yeah, it's fine. If it's story exposition, it's fine.
Yeah, the whole point of these is just the story, because people are complaining a lot, like, oh, it was such a short story, right? I played through it in 90 minutes. And it's like, well, it's an MMORPG. The story isn't the meat of the game. The meat of the game is the achievements and the long-term progression, the meta you have to do 15 times, all that crap, right? The strike missions. Like, that's the game. Yeah. The story is just the story. It's just there to contextualize the rest of the game. That's the whole purpose. It doesn't need to be, it needs to be as long as it needs to be. There's no set length it needs to be. It just simply needs to contextualize the content we get. And I think it's doing that fine.
So in the second instance, or the second chapter, because the first one was pretty short, where we're having to go and find Javi. We're basically following clues. We're going off on a little trek, a scavenger hunt with Bram. And we get to check out the new mastery, right? The special action key.
Yeah.
And we get to use that to see into the past.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of that?
I thought it was an interesting way to show, like, if we can keep using it throughout the episode, that's kind of cool, right?
I mean, it's essentially, remember Kaith's memory seeds?
Yeah, except it's way less cancerous.
Because we don't have to plant anything.
And we don't have to play an entire story mission. We can just be like, boop, that happened. All right.
The one thing about the Kaith's memory seeds from season 3, I think that is, was that we had to like find the proximity, and then it was like when you didn't know where exactly the spot was because you hadn't played it a million times on different alts, it was annoying as fuck to find the G spot to plant the seed.
With Kaith's memory seeds, the one that is so difficult to find is the one outside of the Inquest lab.
Yes.
That one is almost impossible to find your first time. You have to know where it is.
So I appreciated that they were like, here's a little quest marker. Go stand there. Okay.
Yeah.
And, we talk about the tracks that you're finding, and Bram gets to interpret that, there was a scuffle or there was a this, and you're like, all right, great. Let's just go find her.
Yeah, because one thing that we learn when we hit our Raven Master and we look at the past is that these two people that are working for Jormag are Bram's former guildmates.
Yeah.
What bugs me about this whole episode is we never met Bram's guild. We don't know anything about them.
Nope.
Right? There's no investment there at all.
He's never like mentioned them until now.
It all happened off screen.
It all happened off screen, and it was annoying. I think I understand why it happened, but it's still
it's not poorly told aspect of the story.
Yeah,
the whole story's crap. It's just an aspect of the story that wasn't very well told, and now Bram's like, right?
Right, and Bram is feeling all of these emotions, and you're just kind of like, it's all right, dude.
Well, and here's the thing:
pull yourself together, dude.
After season 3 and 4 of the Bram character growth show, I'm kind of done with the Bram character growth show. Bram is the main character of Guild Wars 2, guys.
Look,
I'm kind of over it.
All right, but people have been saying that about like Timey for a while, right?
I disagree. I think it's all about Bram. The whole thing has been about Bram since season 3.
Okay, I don't agree, but okay. I mean, I think if we'd had Bram more in the spotlight consistently, then maybe.
Who else has had care? Okay, Bram and Tommy both have a lot of time, right? But who else gets time besides them?
That's pretty much it, because they're like our dudes now.
Like, why can't they tell? Like, I don't know. I guess Casimir and Marjorie are more fleshed out characters because they're like grown-ups, right? Whereas Bram is like what, 22, so he's going. Is there like a fly in there?
There's like a bug, and I'm trying very hard not to like freak out because I don't like insects. Sorry.
You need to mute your mic and smash it with a broom while I rant about Bram.
Because it's a stink bug, and I need to like go get a thing to get it out of the house. Because if I kill it, we'll have problems. But anyway, go ahead. I'll
Oh,
just.
okay. I mean, I can ramble about Bram
It's
while
all
you do
right.
that if
No,
you need
it's
me.
fine. I want to ramble about Bram too. Hey, Inks, what's going on?
I just because in Heart of Thorns, right, we have air die, and that sets Bram off. He pops one off, and
Yes.
then we've got the whole season 3 show of Bram being angsty, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. It makes sense, right? And then we've got the whole season 4 of Bram's redemption, right? Every episode
Yeah.
is Bram slightly getting better, and so we have 2 whole seasons of very heavy focus on Bram. And at the end of season 4, we have a resolution that's like, oh, hey, we're cool now. And then we start season 5, and it's the Bram show.
So
all over again.
So like with I know a lot of people have been wanting Marjorie and Casimir to come back into focus, and I think that would be nice, if we could get the focus off of their own relationship and just, and it isn't because their relationship is bad or not interesting, whatever. It just cheapens it when they make it the exclusive focus of those two characters that it's all about. Like, it becomes a
All
soap
those
opera.
characters is them.
They're right, not, exactly. It makes them very
Casimir. Marjorie isn't Marjorie. They are Casimir.
Story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it just cheapens it when they make them one-dimensional in the same way that they sort of wrote off Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
So
they literally wrote off Rocks, though. They were like, "You get to stay here now."
Yeah, they literally did. So like, I appreciate that they've taken time to kind of grow Bram along, and that he's not a jerk. He's still kind of a whiny kid. That that's fine.
It's not so much whiny, is just like, I don't know. He's always got input, right? But it's not necessarily valuable.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe he's whiny. I don't know. That's literally what that means, right?
I mean, he was the young teenager in season 1, and we're now at season 5, although this is a saga, so we're not calling it season 5, but it's really season 5.
You can call it season 5. Okay.
So has he grown from the young whiny teenager at all into like what, early 20s or something? I don't even know.
Like, he's definitely gone through a character arc, right? Yeah. He's done some growing throughout season 3 and 4. But I feel like after that, it's time to focus on a new aspect in some capacity. And I don't see that happening. I see it still being like, what does Bram think? Like, every episode is just like, Bram, how is this affecting you? And here's the crazy thing. This season, Saga, is more about Rytlock than anyone else, right? And yet, here we are, wondering how Bram feels.
Right. There's a lot going on with, like, Krisha and Rytlock and how they're feeling about their son going off, and we get very little of that right now.
We barely talk to them this
Now, granted, it is early on into the saga, the season, so maybe that'll change. I hope it does, because I think that Krisha is a pretty interesting character, and I would hate for them to write her off the same way that they wrote Rocks off.
And don't you feel Krisha dying coming at the end of the saga?
Yeah,
I kind of do. Yeah, don't you feel it coming?
I kind of do.
Totally do.
I'm kind of like, man, don't do that.
No, here's what I want them to do. I want them to pull a twist on us. Rytlock dies. Krisha joins Dragon's Watch.
I mean,
hire me, Arena.
No.
Actually, don't.
I don't want Rytlock to die, because I feel like, again, it's like we lost Air. Zoja's basically still having issues. Logan's off doing his Logan things, and Rytlock's the only one who's still around.
Logan's the commander of the Pact.
Yeah, okay.
They slowly need to kill off old Destiny's Edge, though. New Destiny's Edge won't have any cred. Dragon's Watch won't have cred until old... Is it just me, or is Dragon's Watch definitively cooler than Destiny's Edge now? Like, Destiny's Edge killed like a couple of dragon minions and failed to kill Krakator.
Yeah, right? That was their
Dragon's Watch has killed.
Yeah, we're like the
Mordremoth and Krakator. Like, we're
definitely more badass than Destiny's Edge were.
Yeah, we're objectively better at this point.
So it's
Sorry, that was a tangent.
It's okay. I thought going into this episode when we saw the trailers and we heard Jormag talking into people's heads that we would get some insight from Kanak and the Sylvari. Did your Sylvari say anything? Because I played through on a human, as I do.
I played through on my Sylvari. It's my main, and in fact, I played through on 2 Sylvari. I didn't.
And no
I
player.
didn't get that. I might have missed it because I am been known to miss things, but I don't think I did.
So yeah, what I'm hearing, and I haven't, and because I want to play through on like Char and Norn to see if there's any flavor text or flavor dialogue happening with either of those races. I would have thought that the opportunity was ripe for the Sylvari to say, "Hey now, friends, this is how you deal with a dragon talking into your head."
Right? Yeah. Well, because if you're a Sylvari in Heart of Thorns, it happens to you.
Yeah.
Like
it's really cool.
Happens to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. The Sylvari remarks, "It feels like Mordremoth when Jormag talks in your head." Okay.
Okay, I must have missed that. Yeah,
okay.
I must have missed that line. So yeah, minor flavor for Sylvari, like Ink says.
Okay, well, then that's good. But do the characters around you react to that?
Yeah, I didn't feel like there was a whole ton, but I will say, so Inks is listing off in the chat of what happens to all the characters in Guild Wars 2. But I will say, while they're leaning on Bram a lot in this episode, this is the Norn episode.
Yeah,
right.
It's the Norn saga.
Okay, like that's kind of fair. And Bram kind of made friends with Ryland. Yes. Whereas Ryland was tricking him, but I think they're legit going to be friends.
I think so too.
Like, yeah. So in that kind of brings the Krisha Ritlock Ryland thing in with Bram and makes him invested as a character. And so it's kind of good in a way, right? It's kind of good. I'm just a little tired of Bram. That's all.
That's all right. It happens. It's
but
okay.
It does.
I was getting tired of Timey, so it was okay.
It does make sense that Bram is a pivotal character in this because we're up in the north. You know, the Norn and Jormag have always been things, so it does make sense. I'm not saying that what they're doing is bad. I'm saying I'm personally a little over Bram. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's. Inks, you only say that because you do not like her. You do not like Timey. But yes. No, but I think that we do need to move away from Timey as having all of the answers. And having the commander and other characters figure crap out is important.
And I do like the kind of ensemble cast we've developed for the game and how we have people coming and going from each episode all the time. That has the feel of like an actual world. You know, so it's like, hey, in one episode, oh, Almora, what's up? And then, you know, throughout season 4, we had a lot of other characters come back through from the pack and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm really bad at remembering characters from the personal story, so I don't know if Javi is a new character or if we've heard of her before.
She's not. She shows up in Vigil Keep, in parts of the story, but you don't really ever get to talk to her. I think it's text dialogue is what I remember from my Vigil characters. You don't really hear her voice.
That's cool.
She's kind of there, and she's been in the game since pretty much launch. She's just, they never really did anything with her until now.
That's cool though. Like, I like that they're like, hey, this character that was in the game at launch is like had a life alongside you doing your thing, and now they have crossed paths with you. That's kind of cool. I like that. Do we think that because she's the Norn from the trailer, that everyone was like, who's this going to be? So do we think she's going to be pivotal throughout the rest of the season?
Yes, I do, because she's now having to command the Vigil up north.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, the third story is the open world. The third chapter, which is the open world chapter, where we have to go and participate in some events to progress the story. Felt better because as soon as your event was done, you could move on. You didn't have that progress bar. So that felt not as locked in as like the prologue to me.
Yeah, you just had to do the event the one time. That was helpful. What I found unhelpful was the fact that the characters you need to go find are running around the map constantly. and you have to chase them down. And if you're like, oh, I'm going to go help Ritlock and whoever over here, now Bram has gone
somewhere else, and you're like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
The only one who stays put is Marjorie, except when you get into those caves, now Marjorie's like, well, I'm going to go all around the cave, and you're going to have to find me in the cave. And I was just like, this is unnecessary. All right. Like, I get that you're trying to be, like, innovative in 2019 with your MMO design, but just take it back to 2004. Take it back to classic WoW. Let me have an NPC waiting for me at a pre point. Okay.
I didn't mind it as much because I was hopping on my sky scale and flying around. So I wasn't running along the ground to get them, and I could chase them down pretty quickly. But I think the one that I had the most trouble with, ironically, was with Marjorie in the caves, and I think it was, I don't know, there was something about that instance that I just was not, maybe I was tired, but I was not reading the mechanics well, and I was like going down, and I was like, oh, this isn't
if
good.
if you spawn, so every time you free a prisoner in that event, imps spawn, and imps do a lot of damage. And if you're not killing them as you go, if you just free all the prisoners, there's going to be like 12 imps.
Yeah, that was my problem, because I was just like, I was like tunneling into just freeing the prisoners, and then I was like, oh crap, what have I done?
Yeah, they'll kill you.
And there's only one waypoint on that map that I've unlocked at the keep, I think. So I was like, oh, I gotta run back or fly back. So it was just annoying. But I got through it.
One thing that I did, speaking of Marjorie, one thing that I did notice about her this patch that I was massively relieved about was in previous patches, ever since the character came out, Marjorie's VO has always been very hammed up and like
vampy.
Yeah. She's always like, Commander.
Yeah.
It's me, Marjorie Delacroix. Like, that's how she talks.
Yeah, that's her noir vamp. I love it.
She doesn't talk like that anymore.
No.
I hated it. But her VO this episode is like, hey, Commander, what's up? It's me, Marjorie. I've mellowed out now.
She kind of went away from it in the prologue a bit, and I was sitting there during the prologue going, did they change her voice actor? And then it like sounded like Marjorie again. I
don't know that they changed the actor, but I think they changed the direction of the voice work.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is weird because I thought I was the only person complaining about that. I've talked about it before. I've ranted about it many times. Yeah. I didn't think anyone else was ranting about this, so I'm glad ArenaNet listens to me personally.
I'm kind of down with the vampy voice because I
didn't like it
cool. I didn't like it. But I appreciated that she sounded more like Jory. Even though she wasn't as vampy, it was still sounded like Jory in this episode, whereas in the prologue I was like a little confused.
It's definitely the same person still. Her I didn't notice in the prologue, but I definitely noticed this episode that they just took a different direction with her.
Yeah. And I think that's probably an emotional or a vocal tell for where they might be taking her, which I think is good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So at the end of that arc, the third chapter, we have to go in and find Almora finally.
There's also throughout this throughout the first and second parts, so Jorah's Keep and the open world section, there's a lot of really, it's not badly written or anything like that. It's fine. It's written to be this way, but there's a lot of cringy banter between Ritlock and Krisha that just makes you go, and it's not bad. It's written to make you do that. Like, it's written to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Ritlock is like, so.
Yeah. He's trying hard to be like, oh, bro. You're trying to get in her pants again. Stop.
Yeah, stop it, dude. And Krisha's just like, bruh.
No, it's good.
It's good. It's like a good level of cringe. Like, it's the proper right amount of cringe. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So at the end of chapter 3, we find Almora, and she's no longer with us. And that's when we realize, oh wait, her communicator's been stolen. Hang on. We've been trolled this whole time by Jormak.
So how long into this story step, first of all, how long into this episode did it take you to realize Almora is dead?
I think I didn't actually consider it as a possibility until we just kept having to chase, and I was like, what is going on here? How far have they taken her? For a while I was thinking that they were just going to have us do prisoner releases like they did in Heart of Thorns. because a lot of this felt like rewritten Heart of Thorns-y type things, or like influenced by Heart of Thorns storytelling, if that's a better way to put it. So when we did find her dead, I was like, oh, all right. And I was just not invested on Mora, so I was kind of like, all right, cool, we got to go figure out what they did. And yeah, they kind of shitty way for her to die. Who knows how she died? We just find her. And someone buried her, which was interesting. But
here's the thing. So Inks in chat mentioned earlier they should just do what The Walking Dead does and kill off characters once their character arc is complete. That's kind of what they did with Almora, because her whole thing in life was to kill Krakatork.
Yes.
That was her whole deal.
That was her whole purpose.
That was the whole purpose behind founding the Vigil. That's done. Like, Almora can, like, chill now, right? And
she can be happy in the mists.
She's now chilling a bit too much.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I realized, so I had a feeling she was going to die when we didn't find her at Jorah's Keep, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think we would find her dead. I thought we'd find her alive and have to like try and rescue her, and she would get killed. I thought she would get killed, but we just find her dead. I was like, all right, well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, when I walked up and saw her sword, I was like, oh, okay, they've done this.
Yeah, I was like, well, here's where you could have put in some gameplay and you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Oh, well.
Yeah. And I think that's obviously intentional. I think the fact that the commander doesn't get to kick someone's butt right away is an interesting way of doing this first story. We've always gone in and kind of fought our way through something to accomplish X goal. And the fact that this time we're just kind of like, nope, actually we've got to just suffer through it.
It makes sense to have Marjorie along with us for this one, because it's very much a mystery, like a murder mystery. Yeah. Not so much a murder mystery, but a missing persons mystery. I guess it's not as interesting to say.
Yeah. And that's always been her like Nora shtick, isn't it?
Yeah, this was a very investigative episode. Is a very cerebral episode, right? As the last instance emphasizes.
Yeah.
There's really only one instance combat encounter in this.
And it isn't until the final end. So the invitation that we have to go into, the final episode, where we have to go into the Raven Sanctum, what did you think about that maze?
I hated it. Not the rooms. The rooms are easy. You just talk to a Raven who's kind of a dick.
Yes.
But the guy's a dick. But just finding my way around, because there's no indicators on the minimap of what goes where, that just bugged me.
They went and they like doing, now that they've got the tech to take away our skills, since they put it in Path of Fire where they took away our skills once they killed us, they like doing it now, and I'm kind of like, all right, guys, I know
you feel uncomfortable without him.
I'm just kind of like, I get what you're doing here. I know it's clever. Please stop. I just need, what are you doing? No, I mean, it's good. It was fine. I think the one room the one area was the one where you're choking, and I had to like find my way, and I couldn't figure out, like, that took me the longest to like, and I was sitting there scraping the walls like Guild Wars 1, and I was like, I know it's around here somewhere. So I finally found the way.
I want to talk about these Raven questions, because they pissed me off. Okay. So the first one is where you've got some wolves here, right? You've got two hunters here, and you've got a dude who's injured behind a tree here, right?
Yeah.
So I picked, I'll go scare off the wolves. That way the hunters are free and clear to help this wounded guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, so you scared off the wolves, but the guy died. And I'm like, you. Not in my version.
And I think the fact that they put in that line by Javi is like, there is no right or wrong answer. This is Raven after all. And I was just like, you're not making me feel any better now.
I mean, there's no right answer. They're all wrong answers. Thank you. Cool. And the one with the book choice, the spell tome or the history book, I'm like, oh, well, the obvious choice is the history book, right?
Oh, I chose the spell tome.
I chose the history book because they're like a smart person, a big brain Pepega, right, would pick the history book.
Yeah, I know.
And then the guy's like, really? You picked the history book? And I'm like, all right, this guy's a dick, hands down.
It was funny because I have played through Wayfarer Foothills, that one opening quest, that dynamic heart where you have to like solve, not, well, I think actually it's a dynamic event where you have to answer Raven's riddles. I've done that damn heart or event so often that I was like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen here. And then they went through that curve and I was like, damn you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just, the whole instance, it's not hard by any stretch. You can't fail it, right? Like either answer is accepted, and you'll move forward. The guise is it's not testing you to like right or wrong. It's testing you to know who you are, right? But the maze just bugged me. It's just annoying, right?
I was really only it was annoying, and I was just like, all right, I'll have to figure my way out. The one, like that I said, the one area that really annoyed me was the choking gas one, or the choking air one, only because it took me a little bit longer to find the entrance point into the final boss room.
Yeah, and then the boss fight is fun. Isn't the right word?
No.
It's not hard. He doesn't do a ton of damage or anything.
No,
like, he's not gonna kill you.
Not. He teleports around though, and you have to find him. And I thought that wasn't telegraphed as clearly as it could have been. Once I figured out that it was the little white swirly misty thing, and I was like, of course it would be that.
Yeah.
And I was watching, I was like, well, maybe I need to let this snowblind effect dissipate. And I moused over and it was like, it lasts 4 minutes. And I was like, okay, all right. So let me just go around, because I'm obviously not going to get rid of this debuff. Let me just find him. And then he was just, I need to go through and play it some more to fine tune my comfort with the mechanics on it, because I felt like the targeting to dodge out, like my reaction time was slow. And again, it could have been that I was just tired by the end of the night when I was doing it. But it wasn't as quick as I...
Yeah, my issue with it wasn't like, it was just annoying him teleporting all over the place, because I'm just like, oh, now I can run over here, okay.
Yeah.
But we tried. I was talking about that achievement to find him in 5 seconds after on my stream last night.
That was achievement, but okay.
Yeah, and I was like, we can't. And someone in my chat was like, oh, do it in a group. It's the only way you can get it done, because it's impossible to do it by yourself, right? And so we couldn't get a full group, but me and Josh went in together to try and do it. We couldn't do it. we're just like, this is impossible. Screw this. Like, it's a really hard achievement. You basically have to get lucky. The only way you can get it is if you get lucky. You can't do it like with your brain. So
it's RNG. Fun.
Yeah, you have to RNG it pretty much. It's the only way.
Yeah.
So yeah, screw that achievement. I'm not going to do it.
All right, so I think the real setup, the real reward for this instance is the cutscene at the end.
With no.
Oh my god, it was so good.
But the mouth syncing was so bad.
Yes, that's it. It was like he had to like figure out and take over his body. And wasn't. But
I don't think that's what it was. I think they just animated it very poorly.
No, it was purposely done. They said it on Guild Chat yesterday.
I think that's a cover up.
I think it was.
I think we have a cover up on our hands.
I don't know. I thought it worked because it made it seem like he was trying to take over his body and was having, issues making a dead body work. And it reminded me of something, and I cannot for the life of me think of where I've actually seen this done before in something else.
No, I get that it's supposed to look creepy, guys. Like, I get that. Yeah. I get that it's supposed to look uncanny and creepy. I thought, apart from that, on top of that, it just, I don't know, it didn't come together for me. I get what they're going for. Like, I'm not, like, completely Pepega level blind, right? But I just wasn't feeling it. I
liked it a lot. I thought it was really well done. Really, really creepy. Really just, I thought they hit it out of the park with that one. Yeah, but it did reminded me of something that I've seen done somewhere else. I can't remember if it's on a show or in a different game or whatever, but something of a corpse being taken over like that, and it really worked. Whatever it is it reminded me of, it worked.
Conceptually, it did work. Yeah, conceptually, it was a good move for the story.
I liked it. So what did you think of Jormag's I want to help her. Come and find me.
I mean, yeah, I think Jormag is a troll, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're a normal elder dragon right now, you feel incredibly threatened by Oreen, right? And I think top priority for both. If Jormag is back awake, Primordius is too, right? So I think top priority for them would be to get rid of this new problem that is Oreen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless the this is a big possibility. Unless the Elder Dragons are clued in on this big brain secret that everybody except the commander seems to be clued in on.
Right.
Like, so here's something that bugs me about the whole Elder Dragon thing, right? Arena has established this thing where it's bad to kill Elder Dragons, right? Tyria will. We don't know. And that bothers me that we don't know what the fallout is. There's fallout of some sort to killing another dragon that's supposed to be catastrophic to the planet. We don't know how that manifests, what that is. Yeah. Where they're just like, don't do that, right? Yeah. And everybody with a massive brain seems to know what will happen, but we don't. Like Joko knew. Joko was like, only an imbecile would do that, right?
Right. And we're like, that's us. Party.
Yeah. I'm like, right here, reporting for duty. But and it just frustrates me that I'm like, what will happen though? Like, I need more answers to think my way through this issue, right?
Yeah, I mean, Inks brought it up in chat. Like, it was so well done that I want to believe Jormag, because there was enough. We just went through having dialogue with Kralkatorrik, basically Grandpa Dragon, telling Maureen, please, take my power. You're the one. And, us going in and going, yeah, right, cool. We're gonna stab him through the heart. Right, great. Fantastic. The dragons are on our side. Great, fine. Okay, sure. So there was enough truth that I want to help her that I'm just kind of going, oh, wait. So is he like Kralkatorrik too? Is he real keying into something? And like you said, is Primordius a thing? One of the things that I watched back was in that cinematic to figure out or to listen to what he actually said on what is coming, because I thought it was something to do or a reference to Primordius, but he didn't reference anything like underneath or a power underneath. It was just a power that's coming or something. I'm totally paraphrasing that badly, but yeah, I just want to I'm ready to give in to Jormag here at this point. I'm just kind of like, all right, and this is probably the bad idea.
Yeah, they could do whatever they want, right? They could flip the game on its head and be like, Jormag is actually our ally, and we're fighting an entirely so Kralkatorrik goes mother at the end, right? Maybe there's an even bigger, badder presence somewhere that we're gonna have to anime style team up with Jormag and Primordius.
I mean,
and all fight together, right? It'll be that's going to be the twist at the end of the Icebrood saga. I don't know. I just think there's too many questions right now, and not enough information. Just hints, right? There's hints everywhere, but we don't know how to apply them. What does mother mean? Right? I don't know.
I'll say that they have me intrigued, and I would like to find out, or I'm eager to find out what it is that Jormag either A, has up his sleeve, or 2, is actually trying to do.
I think they've come a long way in how they're able to unfold their story. In early Guild Wars 2, it was very much like point A to point B. We got to get rid of this Elder Dragon, right?
Yeah.
And then now we've got a lot of different threads going on. We've got micro threads. We've got the big overarching story, and we've got all our character threads in between that are all intertwining and doing all this stuff. It's actually a very complex story at this point. It's kind of cool. And it all plays off each other, and everything affects. This is something I was talking about last episode. smaller character actions are starting to work together to affect the overarching narrative, and it's a more advanced level of storytelling. I think it's kind of cool. It's more akin to like what you'd see in a television show than in a video game.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive.
And
like I said, I like that they're making Jormag like a character, not just a big mountainous blob. It's like Jormag has a personality. It's got its way of addressing things and its plan.
And I want to know what that plan is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was never really a fan of like, I mean, I know everyone was all like, you know, praise Joko and all that. I was never really on board with that because I thought Joko was a jerk, and I didn't want to like give in to his lies or whatever. Or
I mean, I didn't like I didn't consider myself like a fan of what Joko was doing, but I was a fan of him as a villain. Like I thought he was a good character.
I was tired of him though by the end.
Yeah. I thought they played the silliness angle too much, and I know he had the silliness angle in Guild Wars 1 too, so it is in character for him to have the silliness angle. It just took me out of the game as a whole when they would play that. But when they were playing him straight, it was really good.
Yeah.
Like that cutscene in Season 4, Episode 3 at the end, where he's lecturing us before he kills us.
Yeah.
Still the best cutscene in the whole game.
Yep. I agree.
Like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Jormag obviously doesn't have the. Can you imagine Jormag like cracking jokes? Like Jormag doesn't have the silliness angle, right? So if you were into that sort of character-based villain, but you weren't into the silly Joko, Jormag might be right up your alley.
Yeah, no, I like what they're doing with Jormag. I'm very intrigued, and I do think that they are playing up and developing his character, like you said, in more interesting ways. Because I don't want the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man again, like we had with Mordremoth. I thought that was boring. Yeah. Although I do think that what they did with Mordremoth and the Sylvari storyline was very interesting. So, yeah, I would like to see if this getting into our head thing is going to continue, and how the characters are going to respond to that. But I think maybe that's a one-trick pony show that needs to die now. I don't know.
No, it shouldn't. We should have like a conversation with Jormag every episode. We should get like more familiar with Jormag. Like every episode, we should be like, "Hey, Jormag, what's up? I'm back." And Jormag's like, "Hey," like we should develop kind of a rapport with Jormag to where we're like bantering at each other. No, that'd be stupid. But the talking to us in our head should continue for sure.
Yeah, and so the thing that got me, because we say at the end, well, he stole Almora's communicator. So was it that he was talking to us through the communicator, or was he talking to us through our head?
No, what you're seeing, it could be either way, first of all. It could be either way. But what you see, he can animate corpses, right? Like he could have literally had Almora go like,
yeah, he could have,
right? Like that's totally possible. So I don't know.
Zombie Almora, here she comes.
Yeah, like it could have been in our head or through the communicator, either one. We don't know, and I don't know that we'll ever know. But one thing that I was wondering about, somebody in chat said earlier, and you mentioned as well that we didn't really talk about, was you said that whoever killed Almora didn't bury her. Do you know who buried Almora?
No, there was a suspicion that it was Runebringer, Banger Main. What's his name?
Bangar.
Bangar. There we go. Yeah, someone mentioned one of the characters. I think it may have been Javi, or maybe it was Krisha. I think it was Krisha actually, speculating that it was Bangar who buried her.
Okay, I can live with that.
And I was like, okay, but Bangar's a jerk, so I want to hate him. So I don't want him to be.
What if it wasn't Bangar? What if it was Ryland? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it was Ryland. I must have missed that bit of speculation.
Because if it was Ryland, then that gives us another clue potentially the avenue of redemption for him.
Well, he's obviously going to join Dragon's Watch. Like, come on. He might not join Dragon's Watch because he's very like, I'm a char and I do char things, right? But he's gonna flip flop sides for sure. Can you imagine how dark it would be if we had to kill Ryland?
Dude, that would, yeah.
That would be so dark.
That might be the breaking point for Ritlock and him.
I know.
I'm gonna go off and be this crusty old char dude.
I can't imagine. I don't think they'll go that dark. I bet Ryland's gonna be a homeboy.
Kind of expect him to.
Yeah.
So overall, then you like the story despite its brevity.
Yeah, there's very little gameplay to the story, but like I said, I don't think that's as important since we have a whole game to engage with outside of the story. So yeah, the story was it made me think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Despite the kind of not so subtle beginning, it made me think a little bit throughout the episode, and there's some good speculation you can go into. Like we said, like we went off on so many tangents during this discussion, and that's a credit to the writing. It's like these small things that happen make you think about other things in the story, and it all kind of works together. It's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Inks brings up that Krisha asks us to look for proof that it was Ryland, that buried Almora, and we couldn't see it. I don't remember that she said that, but I will take your word for it because I only played it through once. But yeah, I don't know. I think Ryland right now is kind of crafty, so that if he had, he may not have left proof.
Mm-hmm.
The mirror, the Raven mirror thing was left behind, conveniently.
Yeah, the Raven mirror. Yeah.
So would Bangar have left that behind if it had been him?
I don't think Bangar would have even known what it was.
Why? Because he's a meathead.
No, he's not a meathead though. He's a politician.
Yeah.
It's just I don't think he's very up to snuff on Norn culture. I guess.
Could be. I don't know. I mean, he was wise enough to know about the tooth and.
I don't know. Chat does make a good point though. That it would be pretty cliche for Ryland to like do a 180 and join our side. They could be setting up for something completely different.
I'm not completely sold that Ryland doesn't know what he's doing.
No, he doesn't seem stupid, right? He doesn't seem dumb.
Because he played Bram. Not that Bram is, the sharpest tech in the toolbox, but no, I think there's more to Ryland that meets the eye. At least I hope so.
Yeah. I just don't know, like, do they make him a villain? Do they make him a redemptive, like, villain to hero? I don't know.
Like Canuck?
Yeah, like Canuck. Yeah, exactly, Canuck. And we, like, are we going to fight Ryland and, like, subdue him? And then he's like, okay, you're my daddy now, like Canuck? Or, I don't know. It's, because it's cliche if they do it, but it's very dark if they don't. Yeah. So, who knows?
Where is Canuck? I kind of want him back for the banter.
Canuck quit, dude.
Imagine what he would do to Ritlock and ribbing him on the getting into Krisha's pants. That would just be hilarious.
After he was in Path of Fire, right?
Yes.
Yeah, after coming face to face with the human god of fire, he's like, no, I'm out. Goodbye.
I'm gonna go get my wife.
No, he was with us at Joko though. He was with us at Joko. And I think that was the last time we saw him was with Joko, right?
He was with us for part of the whole Krokatoric arc.
Yeah, the first 3 episodes.
And then he kind of just did his own thing.
I don't know. He's just like, dude, listen, we've killed a lot of people. I've amassed a lot of treasure.
I'm gonna go gamble.
I'm gonna go spend my money.
I'm gonna go ecto gamble because that's where it's at.
And not risk my life anymore. Like, I can feel that, dude. I'm in the same boat, honestly.
All right. Anything else on the story that you want to touch on?
No. I think we covered it pretty much. It's shaping up nicely.
Oh. All right. Yeah. I'm pretty intrigued. We'll leave it at that, and I'm looking forward to replaying it.
But apart from the story, you haven't played much of the rest of the patch, right?
No, I haven't. I haven't done the strike missions. I haven't done the meta in the map. So I'm like, I've got a lot that I can still go back to.
I did the strike mission.
But did you do the new strike missions, or did you do the old one, the Grothmar Valley one, which is
I
easy?
I did both. I've done the Ice Construct and I've done the Kodan Brothers. The strike missions are released weekly, so we actually can't play the remaining 2 yet. Josh in chat saying the strike is fun. It's fine. It's like an easy mode raid, right? We went in with pugs and we were able to clear it. It's definitely harder than Ice Construct. The Kodan Brothers is much more difficult than Ice Construct, but it's still not the same difficulty as like a raid or like a tier 4 fractal or anything like that. But it's
I saw Deroir and Rogo were commenting on the tuning of the strike and were happy with its difficulty, so that made me hopeful.
It's good. It's good casual raid content. That's basically what it is, because like you show up and the boss is just there, right? There's no preamble or anything, so it's essentially a casual raid boss that you can go do, and it's not bad. We went down a few times, but we rezzed out of it, and we actually hit the enrage because we killed one of the Kodans too quickly. But we still managed to get the maximum bonus reward. It was good.
Did you go in low man or full squad?
Full squad. You don't want to low man the new ones. You can low man the old one. You don't want to low man the new ones. Maybe after people figured it out more, but as of right now, you probably want to go in with 10 people. I'm sure whatever god tier guilds the Twitch chatters are in have all done it 6-man or whatever, but plebs like me have to do it with 10 people.
I can imagine that low man is going to be super spicy, like Josh says.
Yeah, ink 6 random people. Yeah. LFG low manning the strike mission.
I don't trust that. Someone was asking me earlier today, like, why I don't pug fractals, and I was like, I don't pug because I have a life stress enough as it is. I don't need game stress as well. I'd rather go in with people that I know to do group content, and that's fine.
I pug fractals. I pug fractals, and it's very much 50-50. Like, I
know that there are pugsters out there who are like super, on top of things.
But there's also
the RNG of it. I'm just kind of like, no, man, I can't.
Yeah, no,
and that's just totally me. That's my stuff.
The only reason I pug fractals is because I don't have a reliable enough schedule to do a static. So I kind of have to. But yeah, it's rough out there. It's rough out there. But yeah, I played through the patch twice on 2 characters. I've done full map comp on both. The map is a pretty easy complete. You do need to do the meta to get the POI up by Asgir's Legacy, but that's not too bad. The meta is trash. The meta is really bad. It's one of the most boring metas I've ever had. The final boss doesn't even fight you.
So what do you think of the Essence Mastery? Because I've been hearing that it's kind of silly.
It's stupid. The essence manipulation is stupid. It's just do this mastery and now you can open these boxes. There's this thing where you can collect orbs from around creatures to like zap them. You don't need to do that. It's pointless.
Because I think it's supposed to be that you collect the colors and then it'll help you break their CC bar, which I find really funny because open world bar breaking is usually really bad anyway.
It's open world enemies. You don't need it. Like, you can just kill them normally. It's completely pointless. The only point to the mastery is opening the chest. That's it. The chests give you itrite ingots, which are nice if you want to do the boreal weapons.
Yes, which I've heard very good things about that collection.
Have you?
I have.
Because the weapons look awful.
I mean, I previewed the tier 1 weapons, and I thought that they looked okay. I have not seen the tier 2 ones yet.
They're very uninteresting.
I thought that would be kind of up your street. You kind of like basic weapons.
You're talking to the man who
No,
wears Warbringer, Fiery Dragon Sword, and Rotgort all on one character.
I know that, but you like what I mean by basic weapons is you tend to go for the more, I guess, utilitarian style weapon skins for certain.
I used to back when
have you gotten over that now?
I used to back when I didn't have like a bunch of legendaries, and now I do, so I use those. But these, I don't think this new set is attractive. It's pretty ugly. You can sell them though. They're sellable on the trading post. They're selling at about 20 gold a pop. Yeah.
You can also sell the chili pepper note on the trading post, which I found kind of funny. Got mine.
And yet I'm a problem because I bought my Doom chair.
Yes, well, but that's a raid reward, so never mind.
The chili pepper node should be earned as well.
I agree. I agree. I was very surprised that it was tradable. And when I saw that, I was like, well, okay, I'll just do this because I have the gold and I haven't been able to play this content. And right now I need a raid right now. So.
Yeah, so I guess what you were talking about that I missed, the chat just reminded me of, is the collection is good as in the tiers that you get of rewards. So you don't have to do the whole collection and get one reward. Every like 4 or 5 weapons you get is another tier of collection completion, and you are rewarded with something further. So yeah, that's kind of a cool new way they've implemented of doing collection rewards. It's interesting. I'll probably plunk away at the weapons, but I'm not going to like go ham on doing them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, the other thing that we wanted to bring up as we titled our episode today, Whispers. What do we call this? Whispers of moving the TP icon. This is kind of funny. I was amused by this. Well, not so much, but I was somewhat amused by this.
I thought it was hilarious.
So here we go. So, oh, that's really bad. Let me see if I can zoom in. So back when you would see your UI in game top left, you'd see the trading post right.
Kind of buried in there.
Buried in there because you had gameplay stuff, trading post, mail, your inventory, yada yada. All right, and now they done this.
Praise be to our new Lord and Savior, Chris Corey.
I can't, man. Now, I haven't talked about publicly as much as you have your despise of the build templates. Since they've come in, I have used the base template that they give us. I have not purchased anymore. And it's mainly because of the whole monetization, which we've beat to death in previous episodes, but this just made me sad. I was like, oh.
I did like
how convenient. Oh, I suppose it could be a convenience factor. Let's move this out and make it more visible. But at the same time, it's like, let's move this out. Let's make it more visible and have people spend money.
Well, I do like that people also mentioned that the actual icon is changed. It's a different icon. It looks like the Peepo version of the old one.
Here's the old one, and here he's got. Oh, hello. I need to zoom back out. Yeah, that's the new one. Yeah, that made me sad. When I saw that, I was like, oh no.
It looks so silly. Yeah, it's it's kind of a meme. It's just a meme. It's funny how ever since the NC Soft takeover, right? That's what we're gonna call it.
Yes. This is life after Mike O'Brien.
They're like micromanaging any possible thing that could bring in an extra penny. Right?
I get that they have to make money. Folks, I understand this. I still just think that it's a bit.
It's just so funny how they're like, how could we squeeze extra dollars out of our audience? How can we get an extra $75 out of the Guild Wars 2 population?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. So
yeah,
they did that, and it made me sad, and I just kind of went, oh.
It's pretty insidious. Yeah, it's pretty insidious. It's nasty. But it's also hilarious.
It is hilarious.
That's the way I'm dealing with it. Like, instead of getting mad, to just find it all funny, right? and it works maybe 50% of the time.
Yeah, I feel like if I can't laugh, I'll rage quit, and I don't want to do that because I've got a lot of time invested in this game.
I mean, I just hit O if I want to bring up the.
I do the same.
I use
I ever hit the
hotkey, so
icon.
this has no bearing on me whatsoever.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, so they did that and amused us slightly. But the other thing that they've got in the gem store now is that Infernal Horror Springer skin, which we're going to show you guys something. There's a new swap there. There's a new Delphi.
Yes, I wanted to plug this person.
We wanted to plug this person. Her name is Yara. And she's got this site, and she's putting together achievement guides and things like that, and preview looks for gem store things like Delphi was doing. So I hope that the momentum continues and she keeps at this, because this is really something that was missing when Delphi stopped updating her site because of her real life obligations, which is understandable. But yeah, it was a big part of the community life that was missing. So I'm glad that someone has stepped into this void.
And she does gem store skin previews too, which everybody who does podcasts is probably very thankful of.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little here, and can you
full screen it? Yeah. The Infernal Horror Springer skin.
Yeah, and they were giving this away via their social media at first. They did a contest, which amused me as well.
It's a really cool Springer skin.
It's creepy, man.
It's probably like imagine if you could earn that in game. Imagine how popular, like if this dropped from the strike mission, right?
Look at the mounting. Look at that. Like, it's very necro.
It is like check it out. Imagine if this dropped from the Bone Skinner strike mission, right? Imagine how popular that would be. Imagine how much people would farm that.
Imagine if it was the Bone Skinner Minx.
Imagine if it was the Bone Skinner, yeah. But no, it's just 2,000 gems on the gem store. It doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless. Like, imagine if you're a new player, right? You're a peepo, and you see a player with this skin. You're like, wow, goodness, where did you get that? And what do they tell you? I bought it on the gem store.
Yeah. Or I got it as a lucky drop out of a Black Lion chest.
Yeah. Like, and so as a new player, you're like, oh, it's not in the game? No.
I mean, no. Yeah, it is, but for swiper gems. It's for gems. We'll just call it that, and we'll forget how we can. But yeah, no, it's really cool looking.
It is. It's awesome.
Very creepy.
It has footsteps.
Yeah. Oh,
it's literally a legendary. They're selling legendaries on the gem store, guys. I'm quitting all over again. I quit. No, I'm not. But
we know.
It's kind of like, I know there's no precedent set for legendary mounts, right? So but at the same time, it does have footsteps. It's kind of messed up.
No, I mean the 2K
legendary feature, that's messed up.
The 2K mounts have always been really quite well done in the effects that they have.
I don't know, the lion head griffin is kind of weird.
Yeah, that one is a little weird. I have the Shrine Guardian, the Nine-Tailed Fox jackal skin, and that I got it as a drop out of a Black Lion chest. And it's got cool effects from when it moves, when you hit the its jump, your endurance bar thingy, your space bar. And it will also change the color based on how you dye it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, chat mentioning that the fire beetle has a trail also, so it's not the first one to have. I have the fire beetle. I never use my beetle, so I don't use it. But I got it not for my chest. I think I had some gems lying around and I bought it. But yeah, I have the fire beetle. I should use my beetle more. But yeah, I just, whenever stuff like this comes to the gem store, it's like, wow, that is really cool. Some artists like put a lot, probably many artists put a lot of work into that, and it doesn't mean anything.
Can I just say that permafrost blinds me?
Yeah, there's a time and a place for permafrost.
Yeah, it's very bright.
This Springer is definitely more of a blacks and reds and greens type of.
I mean, the look of it. I mean, imagine if you were to dye it like pinks and purples. That was.
I think I realized what I like so much about that Springer, and it's that it doesn't look like a Springer anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to look at that godforsaken bunny face anymore.
I mean, that's probably the best part with some of the other skins. That one looks just really scary.
That one looks like an entirely different creature.
I'm kind of surprised, and I'm wondering if it was a delay from Halloween because it is very Halloween-esque.
No, I think this is supposed to sync with the Bone Skinner aesthetic. I think this is I think it's Bone Skinner themed.
It's very creepy.
Or maybe it is from Halloween, but they were like, you know what this looks like? This looks like the Bone Skinner, right? And so they decided to save it.
The dripping blood is le creep. Look at that dripping blood that comes out of his mouth. Or maybe that's supposed to be drool. I don't know, but it's really creepy.
If you dye it red, it's dripping blood.
So yeah, I do like its footsteps though. The footsteps are OP.
Yeah, one might say they're legendary.
Yes, one might say that it's legendary. So there you go, friends. If you are interested in that Springer skin, what is it called? The Infernal Horror. 2K gems or roll on some Black Lion chests because it's currently a rare drop out of the Black Lion chest.
Actually, I have some keys. I should open my chests. Give in to the beast within.
Things like this, I'm not going to lie. Things like this, I tend to get them in 4 or 5 keys. So I'm kind of afraid. I never get them. I'm kind of afraid.
I won't get them. Yeah. But it is a cool Springer skin. I'm not opposed because I just save up my keys when I get them from Map Comp, right? And they're just sitting there if there's anything in a chest that I want. Springer skin's pretty cool. Maybe I'll open some chests, get it for free,
Yeah. So that's the gem store, and I think that's all we've got for this week's show.
Yeah, the majority of what we want to talk about was the patch, but we had to bring up the TP icon move.
We did. We thought it was so just funny. Too funny.
It was hilarious.
We'll say. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. So, are you gonna work on doing the patch achievements and stuff now that you're free from raiding?
Yeah, got a month.
Sweet.
I'm gonna just play the game and have fun again. And not that raiding isn't fun. Raiding has been fun for a long time. I'm just not having fun raiding right now, and that's just totally me. And it isn't any of my raiders because my raiders are awesome. It's just I need a break.
Just got to reshuffle it sometimes.
Yeah. Need a break. So yeah. Do you think? And I've seen this question posed on a couple of different places. Do you think that the shortness of this episode means that we'll get episode 2 more quickly?
I don't know. Because there's only been 2 months between episodes for prologue and episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
But we got the holidays. So don't count on anything until January at the earliest, right? So January, February would be when I would imagine the next one's coming.
Yeah, I don't think that they would put something out before Winter's Day because then that will sort of cut into Winter's Day.
Yeah. We might get some sort of like balance patch or like current events or balance patch or like small update before then.
We were supposed to get balance patch with this patch.
Was there a balance patch? I don't pay attention.
PvP stuff and fall reduction traits were supposed to go away, but they didn't go away because they're still there.
I just don't pay attention to balance stuff. I didn't even know there was one.
It was very, very minor. Or at least for PvE, it was minor. PvP, World v World, it was supposed to be a little bit more impactful. I don't do those game modes, so I'm sorry.
What'll probably happen is they'll add a few like X, Y, and Z miscellaneous things in with the Winter's Day patch.
Yeah. There might be some overlap. Chat is speculating because it's Winter's Day and it's an ice dragon.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I could thematically I could see that working. I just don't know that they would do that.
Jormag just like you hear him through the map like, ooh, Winter's Day.
That would be cool, actually. That would be kind of cool.
It'd be either it's riding a fine line of cool and cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
That could go either way at this point.
I wouldn't mind having a Jormag invasion of some sort into Winter's Day. Like, just do something to spice Winter's Day up, because Winter's Day just feels But I think because they know that people will be going on holiday, and the studio itself does go on holiday, I don't think that they would do that.
Yeah. I mean, no, I don't think anyone's, after 7 years of Guild Wars 2, I don't think anyone's expecting another update until 2020. So another actual Living World update until 2020. So yeah.
So that's all we've got then.
Yeah, that's it.
Episode 16 in the can. Have the VOD up tomorrow. Our YouTube channel and on virtuallyinterrupted.com. We'll have audio as well. Got to figure out why our podcast feeds are not working on iTunes, because that was supposed to be working and it's not. But now I have finally time to look into it again. That stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll be back for episode 2. I've almost said 3. I was like, prologue 1, 2. Yeah. We'll be back for episode 2, guys.
Yeah. And you're streaming again.
Yeah, I've picked up streaming again. I needed a break from like all of it, so I took a break like the last 2 months, but I'm streaming again. I streamed every day this week, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll stream tonight or not, but I should be back at it tomorrow.
I've been thinking that I might stream during this break, but I don't know yet. We'll see. Stream
all those story playthroughs that you're doing.
We might. I don't know. We'll see. Or I might just say, yeah, no, I'm just going to play.
Yeah,
and my channel can continue to stay inactive. Anyways, where can the good folks find you?
I've done a name change. I'm not Guild Wars Monk anymore. I'm just Monk, 2 M's.
On Twitter.
And my Twitter handle is just Monk. And then my Twitch is Monk.
With 2 M's.
Yes, 2 M's. YouTube is Monk.
With 2 M's.
2 M's. All right. And I'm not MMO Inks, as people keep confusing me for. I've hosted Jebro like 3 times this week, and 2 of them, he was like, Inks! Thank you for the host.
You're like, actually, no, man, it's Aaron. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. As chat says, Monk. Yes.
Monk, yeah.
So yeah, Monk 2 F's is the new handle, guys.
Yeah. Well, even Inks did a Twitter reboot with a new. He's MO_Inks now, right? Inks?
He did it just for me.
We'll see. Anyways, but yeah, so all of that is updated below. If you want to follow the show, TyriaNow everywhere. My cat has showed up with his catnip, and he's going crazy. And if you want to follow me anywhere, you can just follow me at InkySticks everywhere. Yeah. So that's what we got.
All right, we'll see you guys in 2020.
Yes. Thanks for coming out, everyone, and we will see you. Happy New Year. Happy Thanksgiving for everyone celebrating, and Merry Christmas. And if we by a chance get a new episode, we'll see you before. Otherwise, we'll see you in the new year.
Yep.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.